Welcome back, YouTubers. I am Jason Worsema. This is Tankers Fantasy Football, and we are going to get you ready for your Week 3 matchups. Getting right into some stardom, sit-em, running backs, wide receivers, throwing a little quarterbacks and tight ends at the end. Before we get all into that, you know what we got to do first, and that is kick that intro.
Boy, the evening TV. Everywhere you look, there's a heart.
All right, we are back. We are going to get right into some of these running back starts, and we're going to lead it off with the rushing yard leader through 2 weeks in the National Football League. We are talking about Matt Breida out of San Francisco, and he is playing the Chiefs. I mean, it's at Kansas City, but I don't think that's really mattering right now. Chiefs are giving up the 3rd most yards and the 5th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So I think it's an all-in Matt Breida situation this weekend. Another solid start this week, Kenyon Drake. He's looked pretty good out there, but, hasn't really got it sexy for you yet. But I think he is looking to get it sexy this week against Oakland, giving up the 4th most yards. Now, I mean, Oakland has given up 100-yard games to Philip Lindsay in week 2, so I'm just all in. I mean, Philip Lindsay got that 100 yards on limited carries. He wasn't getting workhorse carries out there, and he still got 100 yards. So I think Kenyon Drake could easily get that 100 yards and probably also get his ass into the end zone for you this week. Another guy, if Dalvin Cook doesn't play, and even if he can play, the Vikings might, go on the side of caution here because they're playing the Buffalo Bills at home, and I think they can win by 30, 40 points. Even without Dalvin Cook in the lineup. So if they're looking to ease him back, maybe give him a little rest, I think if Latavius Murray gets the start, this is an all-in, high-end running back 2 situation for Latavius Murray at home versus the Bills if he gets the start, because the Bills are giving up the most touchdowns to opposing running backs thus far this season, and you're probably looking for a lot of clock-killing second-half action versus the Bills, and Latavius Murray can take a lot of those carries. All right, another guy we're looking to start, talking about Jordan Howard. He's going against Arizona. He's getting up the 2nd most yards and the 3rd most touchdowns. Also, and that equates to the 2nd most fantasy points allowed to running backs thus far. Think gonna have a lot of clock killing time, like I just talked about with that Viking Bills game. The Bears defense probably gonna just eat Sam Bradford out there, just eat him alive. Bears, we're looking at a lot of clock killing, a lot of grind them down, and that equals Jordan Howard. And Nagy also came out and said we got to get Jordan Howard more work. So I think this is an all-in situation for Jordan Howard this week. Another guy, even if Jay Ajayi suits it up, I think this is still a very solid flex play RB3 situation for the likes of Corey Clement. He's playing out there against the Colts, giving up the 5th most yards to opposing running backs. I think this is an all-in situation. They gave up a big game last week to a pass-catching running back in Chris Thompson. So I think pass-catching, going to get 4 or 5 balls for Corey Clement, maybe even find his ass in the end zone again. So I think about a solid RB2 week for Corey Clement, even if Ajayi suits up. Next guy is kind of looking for that fucking home run. You're on the ropes. You don't really know what to do, who to start. Maybe you have a couple guys let you down, but I think this is the week that Sony Michel goes out there and just gets it sexy versus the Lions. I mean, the Lions are giving up the 3rd most points to opposing running backs, and look at a big clock-killing situation. I mean, the Lions are just giving up huge games of running backs, giving up huge runs to bumcocks like fucking Isaiah Crowell in week 1, and then gave up that huge run to Matt Breida in week 2. So I'm looking for a big bust you one off something. Sony Michel getting in that end zone for you. Come on, all in flex play Sony Michel. All right. Now we got some running back sits. I think we're going to go McCoy, even if he plays. He's at Minnesota. They're getting up to 3rd fewest yards. Just going to be hard, tough sledding. Haven't allowed a rush TD yet this year. Have the Vikings. So all in, tough sledding versus McCoy. I think he's a solid sit. AP Green Bay, you know, they haven't given up any rush TDs yet either. And, you know, it's probably going to be a heavy Chris Thompson game script since the Packers are probably going to be clanging and banging and slanging all fucking over them. I think it's going to be, Washington's going to be chasing points for the majority of this game, so that means a lot of Chris Thompson. So, you know, if you got Chris Thompson, get him up in your lineup. And a couple of guys out there that I think you should just fucking bury. I think, hold on, we're going to get the fucking shit gun out on these fucking cocks. All right, hold on. We're loading up. Got the shit gun right here, loading up for these cocks. We're talking about Derrick Henry and Tariq Cohen, who people thought they were going to get a lot of work in their offenses. Tariq Cohen has just gotten minimal work, like 8 touches week 1, 5 touches last week. Derrick Henry just looking like absolute cock bum. I'm talking about if you're even in if you're in short bench leagues, these cock holes might even be worth a cut out there. I mean, they have just been that bad. But I'm talking about all in sit on Derrick Henry and Tariq Cohen until further notice. All right, what else we got for sits out there for running back? One more running back sit, Jordan Wilkins and Marlon Mack at Philly, giving them the 3rd fewest yards and the 5th fewest points to opposing running backs. I'm just not in on it. I mean, you look at it last week, and Ryan Fitzpatrick went crazy on the Philly defense, but then Peyton Barber didn't do dick all. So, all in on the sit of Jordan Wilkins and Marlon Mack if you got any other options whatsoever. All right, getting into some stardom wide receivers. Keenan Cole went out there and shit the bed week 1. He got it absolutely sexy in week 2 against the Patriots. I think he's going to continue to get it sexy this week against the Titans. We'll give him the 2nd most yards and the 3rd most touchdowns, and that equals the 2nd most points to opposing wide receivers thus far this season. So all in on some Keenan Cole. Cooper Kupp's another guy I'm all in on. Chargers giving him the 3rd most touchdowns and the 3rd most points to opposing wide receivers. So all in on Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks. Maybe even get a little risky and throw some Robert Woods out there in your flex. That might work out for you too. Sammy Watkins, another solid start at wide receiver. The Niners are giving up the 5th most yards, and Mahomes has just been off the fucking chain. So I'm just thinking start anything Kansas City offense until proven otherwise out there, people. Anything, all in on the Watkins, even though he looked bad out there week 1. I think he's the type of guy that can be a wide receiver 3, solid flex play for you the rest of the way. All right, some sits at wide receiver. Tyler Lockett has gotten in the end zone week 1 and week 2. Brandon Marshall's like, okay, he's old Brandon Marshall out there. He's been decent, but I'm thinking about sitting both of them this week against the Cowboys. The Cowboys' pass defense has been stiff. They give up 4 receptions for 51 yards against Odell Beckham Jr. last week. They're giving the 3rd fewest receiving yards, and they haven't given up a receiving touchdown to opposing wide receiver yet. So I'm thinking about all in on the Tyler Lockett sit and the Brandon Marshall sit if you got anything else going on. All right. Also thinking about sitting Allen Robinson versus the Cardinals. I know he's looked to be Trubisky's boy these first couple weeks, but he's going against Patrick Peterson. You know, that's a pretty tough matchup. Even though the Cardinals have been bad, they haven't really been giving it up through the air that much. I think this is going to be a game. It's going to be very run-heavy script for the Bears. Might be looking at 25 or fewer attempts for the biscuit out there. I don't know. I think it's just going to be a heavy game script situation. The Bears are going to be looking to run. They should be up for most of this game. I don't think Sam Bradford's going to be I think Sam Bradford's just going to be running scared the whole game away from Khalil Mack and company. So I just don't know if A-Rob is going to have, ability to bust one open this week playing against Patrick Peterson and that game script working against them, people. All right. Another sit-em guy that kind of came up out of the sleeper realms last week and did it for you sexy on that Thursday night game. Talking about Tyler Boyd. But, I mean, he is playing the Panthers in possible weather down there in Carolina. The Panthers give up the 3rd fewest touchdowns and the 7th fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So I think it's more, don't be, chasing the dragon on those week 2 Tyler Boyd points. I think this is more of a wait and see on Boyd if you got anything else going on. The guy got you in the end zone last week, looking pretty sexy, looking like he might get in a little bit more of a rapport with Phillip Rivers and Mike Williams. And I guess you can throw in Tyrell Williams in this conversation too, but I think they are a solid sit versus the Rams. I mean, the Rams have given up the fewest yards. They haven't given up a receiving touchdown to wide receivers yet. I mean, they've given up the few, and that equals, of course, the fewest points given up to wide receivers thus far this year. I think Keenan Allen is definitely a guy you got to play absolutely no matter fucking what. But I don't think Mike Williams and Tyrell Williams are worth a look this week. I think they better just leave those guys on your bench. Another sit-em-at wide receiver, Corey Davis, going against them Jags, probably looking to get locked down by Jalen Ramsey all game, so I'm just all in on the sit for Corey Davis this week. Kelvin Benjamin, another guy looking to get locked down by Xavier Rhodes. I mean, the Bills are just fucking awful. I don't see there's any reason why you should be playing Kelvin Benjamin against Xavier Rhodes and the Vikings this week. Got a couple starts at tight end. I know I kind of just shit all over this guy last week, talking about the Outlaw, talking about Jesse James, but I mean, he went out there and got you 100 fucking yards. How the hell did the Chiefs allow for a guy like Jesse James to just run all over you for 100 yards? I don't know, but he's another sexy matchup again this week, playing those Buccaneers. We're getting him the second most yards, 2 tight ends so far, so all in on the Jesse James as a middle to back end tight end one for this week. George Kittle, another guy got starting out there, went out there week 1, shined with that 100 yards, went out there in week 2, shit the bed for you, but I'm saying don't lose faith. He's playing the Chiefs, who are giving up the 3rd most yards and the 2nd most points, 2 tight ends. Like I just said, the Chiefs gave up 100 yards to Jesse James last week in week 2, so all in on the George Kittle start. We got some tight end sits. I think we're looking to sit Austin Seferian Jenkins, even though he got you in the end zone last week, but Titans are giving up the 4th fewest yards and no touchdowns, 2 tight ends yet. And Austin Seferian Jenkins is a guy just out there living and dying by the touchdown, so I think he is a solid sit this week, along with Ben Watson. The Falcons are giving up the 5th fewest points, 2 tight ends. So if you're looking, between 2 dick bum tight ends and Ben Watson is one of them, I would lean toward the other dick bum. Okay, we got some quarterback starts. I think the Fitz magic has been on it there. Week 1, week 2. He's probably still out there on your fucking waiver wires. And if I'm thinking this is going to continue this week against the Steelers, they just give up those 6 touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have the most pass yards and the 3rd most points to opposing quarterbacks. So all in, ride the lightning on the Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he gets it in there and gets it sexy for you again. Starting Stafford against the Pats. Looking for a shootout out there. Patrick gave him the 5th most points. 2 opposing quarterbacks. Gave up 4 fucking touchdowns to Blake Bortles this week. So all in on to Matthew Stafford this Sunday night. All right, Roethlisberger getting another cherry matchup. Playing the Bucs. Giving him the 2nd most pass yards, 2 quarterbacks. So saddle him up again like we did in week 2 with Roethlisberger. Saddle him up all in on the start. Now we got one more start at quarterback, talking about Jimmy G playing them Chiefs out there. The Chiefs are giving the most yards and the most points to opposing quarterbacks, so don't be afraid and get your Jimmy G in your lineup. All right, if you like the cut of my jib, you got any questions? You got any stardom, sit 'em questions? Feel free to put them down in the comment section below. I will get at that shit. And give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you do subscribe, give us a share. Hit that like, mash that like. Let's get this tanker shit out there running wild to the rest of the YouTube community. That would be sexy. Give me a share, whatever it takes to go over, baby. I appreciate it. See you guys later.